Boston Bruins.
Park at Fenway South in Fort Myers, Florida, NESN presents Grapefruit League Baseball. Today, the Red Sox play host to the St. Louis Cardinals. Hello and welcome, everyone. Tom Caron in for Dave O'Brien. Jerry Remy here as always. And Remdog, we're getting down to it here. About 3 weeks left, and the Red Sox haven't been winning a lot of games here. Everybody looking now for some results from this group.
Well, I think you're right, Tom. You know, and you look 2 weeks from today, we'll be in Montreal wrapping up spring training season. So it's a kind of a tough stretch for the Red Sox over the next couple of days. We play here today, but then they go on the road for 3 days. And I expect when they get back from that 3-day journey to the East Coast that you're going to see games played for real. In other words, they're going to have guys going deeper in the games, trying to do things to win games like, you know, you would normally do during the season because they want to get in that routine. And John Farrell is really looking for that out of his pitches. You were in his press conference this morning, and that's exactly what he was talking about, getting the pitches more consistent, throwing more strikes right now, and getting ready for the season. So after these next couple of days, I think it's going to become very serious down here.
Yeah, 3 starts left, just about for every starter, right? And kind of through that dead arm period. So now you really start to look for command of those pitches.
That's exactly right. And, you know, the fact is I don't think he's been quite happy with what's going on so far. So, you know, it's time to turn a corner. And as a player, you feel that way also, that, you know, you're getting close. I want to be ready for the season.
It'll be Joe Kelly today, the former Cardinal, going up against St. Louis. Stay with us. First pitch coming up here on NESN. Here in beautiful Southwest Florida at JetBlue Park, Fenway South, the complex where the Red Sox continue Grapefruit League play today, taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. Take a look at the Cardinals lineup as St. Louis comes across the state over from Jupiter, Florida on the East Coast. It'll be the second baseman, Colton Wong, leading off. Stephen Piscotty in right field. Randall Grichuk, the center fielder. Matt Adams at first. Carlos Peguero had a cup of coffee with the Red Sox last year in left field. Brian Pena behind the plate. Patrick Wisdom at third. Aledmys Diaz is the shortstop, and David Washington is the designated hitter. They're going up against the former Cardinal Joe Kelly, who has pitched well, getting ready for his second full season with the Red Sox. Has given up just 1 run in 3 Grapefruit League starts. That's over 8 1/3 innings, and really has been their most consistent starting pitcher here in Florida, Jerry.
He certainly has, and coming off a very strong outing last time out against Pittsburgh. 4 innings in that game, only 3 hits and no runs. As you see the spring training numbers, games against Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh again. Let's take a look at the defense this afternoon for the Red Sox. Pablo Sandoval will be at third base. Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop. Dustin Pedroia at second. And Hanley Ramirez will be the first baseman, left to right. Chris Young, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Mookie Betts. And Blake Swihart doing the catching for Joe Kelly.
Jerry, you talked about in the open that these games are getting closer to the real thing. Well, you're seeing closer to the real thing for a Red Sox lineup today as we take a look at the umpires here in this one. Tim Timmons is behind the plate. Marvin Hudson, Nick Lenz, and Clint Fagan are the base umpires today on a muggy day. Probably the warmest, muggiest day. A chance of thunder showers this afternoon, Jerry, so we'll keep an eye on that. The tarp was on the field this morning. Never a good thing to see in Florida. Yeah, the Red Sox did not take batting practice or any action on the field this morning. All the work was done in the cages behind the Red Sox clubhouse. There was a threat of rain. Well, they had a little bit of a sprinkle, but there are certainly threats of thunderstorms throughout the afternoon. So hopefully, TC, they will hold off till after the baseball game. That would be nice as we get ready to start this one. This was this morning where the tarp was sitting there when we showed up, and then very quickly the tarp was taken off the field. As you said, the Cardinals able to get their regular batting practice in. The Red Sox took it indoors into the cage. But everything seems clear right now. The chance of thunderstorms in the area kind of continues throughout the afternoon, but we're told it's real hit or miss stuff. Let's hope it is mostly miss on the weather front. Joe Kelly is hoping it is mostly miss as far as the Cardinals hitters go as we get started. And we are underway here at JetBlue Park. The leadoff hitter Colton Wong will be facing Kelly to start the day. Joe Kelly, a third-round pick of the St. Louis Cardinals back in 2009, came over in that John Lackey deal along with Alan Craig. And Kelly, who had kind of flipped back and forth between starting and relieving in St. Louis, has been an exclusive starter since coming over to the Red Sox and went on that great tear late last season, Jerry, that really makes you think this guy is starting to figure it out. Change from a hard-throwing guy to a guy who can master all his pitches. Master all his pitches, but he still has the ability when he needs it to get up to about 98 miles an hour with the fastball. Got a foul bunt there as Wong tries to chop him down the third base line, so the count will be 2-2. John Farrell talking about that before the game. A more complete pitcher on the mound, Joe Kelly, down the stretch last year. You're right. It's always nice to be able to dial it up to 100 if you can, but that 100 looks even better if you're controlling your off-speed and your breaking pitches. Yeah, and that was the key for Joe in the first half of the season. You know, his inability really to get his breaking pitches over, his off-speed pitches, and, you know, everybody was just kind of sitting on the fastball. Once he got it all together, he went on a terrific run for the Red Sox. 2-2 pitch to Wong. Swing and a miss. He got him. Strike 3. So Kelly begins the day with a strikeout here. Looked like a changeup that time from Joe Kelly, doing the honors, picking up the first strikeout of the game. Changeup's going to go to the outside part of the plate. You'll see Wong with no contact out in front of that. Strikeout high for Kelly so far in the game is 3. He's done that twice, and both times against the Pittsburgh Pirates. That'll bring up the right fielder, Stephen Piscotty, who takes a called strike to begin the at-bat. Piscotty had been in a battle for first base time at St. Louis, along with Adams and Matt Holliday. He lines this one to right field, opposite field, base hit for Piscotty. So a one-out single for Piscotty here in the first. Now, you know, when you look at the Cardinals, it's a different ball club, isn't it? And, you know, for a chance now, the Cubs have the opportunity to really take over that division. And that's unusual. St. Louis is so accustomed to be up at the top of the National League. And the fact is that they've gone through some changes. They've got some younger players they're mixing in, yet they have some veterans that they count very much on who are getting up there in age a little bit. But you're right, 100 wins last season under Mike Matheny, and nobody's picking the Cardinals to win the division in 2016. Everybody's picking the Cubbies.
Yeah, I just turned 18.
This is Randall Grichuk, the center fielder. Grichuk last season hitting .276 for the Cardinals. Came over in the David Freese trade with the Angels a couple of years back. He's 24 years old. A lot of youth at the top of the lineup here today, and these guys are battling for starting time in Matheny's lineup. Grichuk looks to be the everyday center fielder here. Piscotty, who you just saw, I was saying, battling for time at first base. They've got him in right field, and they've asked the 25-year-old Piscotty to really concentrate on the outfield so they can get him in that lineup. Grichuk, fly ball right field. Mookie Betts under it, and he'll make the catch for the second out of the inning.
Now, a couple of looks by Mookie Betts out there in right field to see exactly where he was. And, of course, that railing, though, that the stands come up on you very quickly as you get down that right field line. And you'll see Mookie look once, and then he'll look twice and see exactly how much room he has, and plenty of room right there to make the catch. So, nice play by Mookie Betts.
Of course, one of the advantages in the 5 years here at JetBlue Park is it is an identical footprint to what you see at Fenway Park. So Mookie Betts has certainly learned that right field corner up north, and he gets to continue working at it down here in Florida. Cleanup hitter Matt Adams comes now to the plate. 1 on, 2 down.
It's very confusing today. A lot of red out there. Red tops. Cardinals and the Cardinal red and the Red Sox with the red tops also today.
Only trip across the state to play the Red Sox this preseason for the Cardinals. Red Sox return the favor next week. 1-1 the count here to Adams. In his 5th year with the Cardinals, last year battled injuries and just 60 games played. They bring in more competition over at first base. So Adams now goes from a guy who is a fixture in St. Louis, Jerry, to a guy who's battling for his spot on the team.
Yeah, there is some competition in the lineup, and a lot of it is for places in the lineup. You know, where are they going to play? Is Adams going to play some first base? You see the numbers right there in his career, 39 career home runs, 156 RBI.
They got Matt Holliday still in the mix, and they bring Brandon Moss over last season, so it's a crowded first base side. Cardinals have been to the playoffs in each of Mike Matheny's 4 years as manager. Again, it is the Cubbies who are the favorite to win the division now. Adams fouls this one off to keep the at-bat going. 2-2 the count.
Yeah, still very respectable starting rotation for the St. Louis Cardinals. No question about that. Wainwright, Walker, who we'll see today, Leake, Garcia, and Martinez in that starting rotation, and they are pretty impressive. But they did lose some, and then that's going to make a difference, I think, in their pitching in 2016.
Yeah, you're basically hoping Mike Leake can replace John Lackey, who they lost, and didn't just lose, they lost him to the rival, right? He goes to the Cubs. Swing and a miss. As Kelly gets him and gets 2 strikeouts in the inning. So the Red Sox will come up to bat with Mookie Betts leading off. Scoreless here at JetBlue. Cloudy skies over JetBlue Park, scoreless coming up to the bottom of the first of the Red Sox coming up to bat. Mookie Betts will be leading off in right field. Dustin Pedroia at short. Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop, rather Pedroia at second, of course. David Ortiz, the designated hitter. Hanley Ramirez at first. Pablo Sandoval across the way at third. Chris Young in left field. Blake Swihart behind the plate. Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field. Will be going up against Michael Wacha, who has settled in as the number 2 man in the rotation. That's where he will be to start the season. He will get the ball in game 2 after Adam Wainwright, who is back from an Achilles injury, is at the top of that rotation that you talked about a couple moments ago, Jerry.
Yeah, Wacha last year set career high in wins, 17 starts with 30 appearances. Innings pitched 181 and a third, and strikeouts.
Mookie Betts leading off for the Red Sox. Betts 3 homers here in Florida. Hitting .303 in these spring training games. 2 for 3 with a homer yesterday against Minnesota. Red Sox had the split squad day yesterday, and they lost both of them. Beaten up in Port Charlotte by the Rays, beaten here by the Minnesota Twins. So if you count that as 2 losses, they have now lost 9 of their last 10 games, Jerry. Not good this time of year.
No, it's not. And, you know, we talked in the open, Tom, about the fact that the Red Sox have this game and then go to the East Coast for 3 games. Tomorrow in Port St. Lucie, then 2 games in Jupiter. And I would expect when you get back from that, you'll see some trimming of the roster, and you'll see the players, position players in particular, playing deeper into games, try to make it more like real game situations as you inch closer and closer to the season.
Betts gives this one a drive, a straightaway center. Back there to make the catch is Grichuk, so a long out to begin the game for Betts.
Well, take a look at the defense for the Cardinals. Wisdom will be at third base. Diaz, the shortstop. Wong at second. Adams at first. Left to right. Peguero, Grichuk, and Piscotty. And Pena doing the catching for Wacha. But I see quite a few starters in the lineup today for the Cardinals. Very representative team they brought across the state of Florida.
And as you said, the Red Sox will be returning favor because there's no way around it. Usually the veterans might want to beg out of a trip like that, but you've got 3 straight games on the East Coast. Tomorrow's game against the Mets in Port St. Lucie that we'll be bringing you. Dave O'Brien will be back for that one. Then 2 more in Jupiter, then the day off. So if you don't let the veterans play, Jerry, it's way too long a break for these guys at this time of year.
And that's why the Red Sox are taking everybody on that trip. Now, there will be players coming back from that 3-day trip to work out here at JetBlue Park, but the fact is everybody will be making that trip.
There's Dustin Pedroia, who's up to 280 now. Started slow, but certainly seems to have his timing going once again. Pedroia with nobody on and 1 down here in the first inning, facing Wacha. Ground ball back up the middle, but the shift was well set up. Wong almost behind the bag to make the out.
Yeah, that's very frustrating because anytime you hit a ball as a hitter back through the pitcher's mound, you think you got a base hit, you think it's going to go up the middle, but you look up there and Wong was right in position. You can see him playing Pedroia to pull the big high bounce off the front of the mound, and it becomes a very routine play for Wong at second base. That is frustrating for the hitter.
Here's Xander Bogaerts now, 2 down. Especially in spring training, Jerry, do you come away feeling good about that, though? You Dustin Pedroia?
No, I think you always feel good if you get hits.
You feel good when you're standing on first base.
Exactly.
Not when you're heading back to the dugout.
I mean, there's something to make good, solid contact, line drive outs, hit the ball hard, but the fact is everybody feels better when it drops in for a base hit.
Bogaerts ahead of the count here, 2-1. Xander Bogaerts hitting an even 200, still looking for his first home run. They have him back in the 3-hole. That little experiment of Xander Bogaerts as the cleanup hitter has been put on hold, at least for now. High fly ball from Bogaerts. Center fielder Grichuk comes in, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Wacha. We head to the second, scoreless here in Fort Myers. Windy day here in Southwest Florida. Strange day weather-wise. You've got high humidity. You've got the chance of thunderstorms, some cloud, and a wind that isn't really a consistent wind, Jerry. It's kind of buffeting around. If you go out the back of the press box, you can really feel it. Out front, not so bad. Out in center field, trying to weigh that down and keep things in place as that wind swirls around center field. See our camera out there. You see the trees nearby here at JetBlue Park. So we'll be keeping a weather eye on things, not just for the potential rain, but how that wind could affect the game today.
It has been very warm down here for the last 4 or 5 days. Really hot, the hottest weather of the spring. And today may be the most humid day that we've had since being in spring training.
Second inning here at JetBlue Park. Carlos Peguero will begin the inning against Joe Kelly, who had a 16-pitch first inning, worked around the single to Stephen Piscotty. Peguero played 4 games with the Red Sox last year, Jerry. You remember the Carlos Peguero era?
Absolutely.
Drive to center field here. Jackie Bradley Jr. gets back quickly to make the catch.
Nice to see Jackie back in the lineup. Missed a day. Little forearm problem, but back in there today feeling pretty good. That's certainly a good sign for the Red Sox that it was nothing more serious than missing 1 game.
Yeah, John Farrell very clear, stressing that it was precautionary only. Still a lot of camp left. We talked about 2 weeks left, and while that seems like it's coming quick now, Jerry, still a lot of time. You don't want to aggravate an injury at this point. 1 down for Brian Pena, the catcher we talked about. The backup catching out, Yadier Molina. Molina back from an injury, just now ramping up to full game action for the Red Sox. I mean, for the Cardinals, beg your pardon, as you said, a lot of red. And Pena just out of the reach of the diving Xander Bogaerts. And that'll be the second hit of the game for the Cardinals.
Yeah, talking about Molina, for 2 springs, he's been returning from hand surgery. Really messed up a ligament in his left hand late in 2015. Required 2 off-season surgeries to repair that damage. And Pena getting the start today on the long road trip. As Molina, the veteran, of course, probably doesn't have to make many bus rides.
No, he gets to take the West Coast trip off.
Yes.
Patrick Wisdom, the third baseman now, 24-year-old, a first-round pick out of St. Mary's in California. 52nd selection overall in 2012. Hit .237 last year at Double-A, his second big league camp for the Cardinals. Wisdom is 24, so a young man, Jerry, might say he's wise beyond his years. Spent all morning working on that one.
That was very good.
Thank you.
That was very good.
That's about all I got. Called strike there from Kelly. Interesting as you watch Kelly here, Jerry, talking about the struggles early on for Porcello so far. Buchholz is yet to really settle into a groove here at spring training. Kelly has very quietly been effective out here and sort of find himself in the middle of that rotation as opposed to maybe the number 5 spot where we talked about at the start of camp.
Yeah, there's no commitment to anybody right now as far as, you know, how they're going to line up once the season starts, with the exception, of course, of David Price being the ace of the pitching staff. But I think 2, 3, 4, and 5 are really kind of up for grabs right now. And you're absolutely correct. Kelly has pitched very, very well.
Chases Wisdom back with a 1-2 pitch there. So we all remember that run that Joe Kelly went on last year, won 8 straight starts beginning August 1st and going into September, the longest streak of winning starts since Pedro Martinez won 9 in a row back in that incredible 1999 season. And he drops it in there for the called 3rd strike. 3rd strikeout of the game for Joe Kelly.
Now, always an effective pitch after you throw a fastball up and in on an 0-2 count, and you follow up with the breaking ball, the curveball. You can see the little flinch right there by Wisdom. I mean, you're still thinking about the ball up and in. You see another one that may be coming in, except it's the breaking ball, breaks right over the plate for strike 3.
So 2 down now. Aledmys Diaz is the shortstop. And shortstop was the big storyline coming into spring training for the Cardinals, but they have just signed free agent shortstop Ruben Tejada, who was DFA'd by the New York Mets. And so Tejada will obviously be the shortstop to fill in. Johnny Peralta was the shortstop. He was injured at spring training early on and will miss at least 2 months. So that sort of rotating audition at the shortstop position looks like it will end with Tejada taking over.
Yeah, Peralta also had some problems last season with injuries at that shortstop position. So by getting Tejada, they get a guy that's got major league experience, obviously, and will fill that role while Peralta is out. But that's quite a long time.
Yeah, 2 to 3 months with the torn ligaments in the left thumb for Peralta. And Peralta be a free agent at the end of the year. So as they bring in Tejada to be the guy this year, they also want to be grooming these young shortstops like Diaz at the plate now, because the long-term answer is still up in the air. Runner on the go, and Diaz sends that one to right field. Betts gets after it, so with the runner going, all the way to third will be Pena, and men on the corners here with 2 outs.
Yeah, that's a 3-1 count right there, so that's more of a run and hit. I mean, if you don't get a strike on the 3-1 count, you go ahead and take the walk. If you get a good pitch to hit, you let it fly, and that time he did get a good pitch, and you'll see the effort here by Ramirez. He bounces off the bag properly, goes up, but not quite high enough to be able to take the base hit away. Looks like it actually might have hit the top of the glove for Hanley Ramirez. Hanley's on a good week playing defense down there at first base.
Yeah, it's really coming along, isn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's been a very smooth week for him.
So with 2 down, men on the corners for the number 9 hitter, David Washington. Takes a called strike to begin the at-bat. Washington played in a career-high 120 minor league games last season from Palm Beach up to Springfield. Hit .274 after the call up to Springfield. Had 16 home runs total last season, which is among the minor league leaders for the Cardinals last season. That'd be Springfield, Texas, by the way, not Western Mass. Swihart with the block, runner coming in, the throw, Kelly, plenty of time for the 3rd out of the inning. So they get Pena trying to come home, and it's a scoreless inning in the end for Joe Kelly.
Bottom of the second, and we're scoreless here at JetBlue Park. TC, Jerry, it's a special weekend for 43 teenagers from Stint who are here for an unforgettable weekend, the 15th annual Jimmy Fun Spring Training Trip. Now, these cancer patients are here with their doctors and their nurses for an unforgettable weekend, and before the game, they got to meet with some of the Red Sox players. Okay, how cool was it to get a hug from Hanley Ramirez this morning?
It was incredibly cool. He's really nice. All the players are really nice.
And I saw you get a little excited when Dustin Pedroia walked up to you from out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, how's it going? And of course, how else do you respond? It's great. It's a great day when you see him. So,
how much fun has it been for you guys to come here, meet the guys, and just enjoy this weekend?
It's really fun. And, there's only a few times in your life where you get to experience a happiness that's so great you don't really know how to put it in words. But when you do and you get to share it with other people, it's really special.
Well, I know you guys got in late, but it doesn't seem like you're letting the jet lag get to you. It seems like you guys are still there are a lot of smiles getting off that bus.
Little coffee, a lot of baseball. It helps.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Price was signing autographs, and Brock Holt said it was a great weekend for everyone.
Thank you, Garen. And a great bit of luck there for David Ortiz, who got just enough of the wood on the bat before it shattered to drop that one in the left field for the first hit of the game for the Red Sox.
Now, that's one way to defeat the shift, isn't it? Break a bat. Hit the ball at the end of the bat, get a little soft fly ball between Diaz and Peguero, and you pick up a base hit. So the Red Sox have their first hit of the ball game. Walker can't believe it.
I believe you said earlier you're always happy when you're standing on first base. Doesn't matter how you got there.
All of a sudden, you're swinging the bat well.
Here's Hanley Ramirez hitting 296. First pitch swinging, and it's a high fly ball over to right field. Piscotty is there, and he'll make the catch. One pitch, one down, and then Ramirez at bat. Ortiz still at first base. Back to what Garen was talking about. It is an incredible highlight to this spring training. Now, Jerry, you said at the beginning, you kind of threw the dog days here. You got a couple of weeks left. It's been a month at camp. It always amazes me how the Jimmy Fund group comes down here. These kids get to meet the players, but it's the players who come away with smiles every bit as big as the smiles on the kids' faces.
And I can tell you from being in the Red Sox clubhouse, it's a day they look forward to. This morning they were all made aware, actually, a few days ago, that they were going to be down here today, and they were all very, very anxious to meet the kids and put a smile on their face. And it's a wonderful relationship that they have with the Jimmy Fund.
David Price, the newcomer, the big money free agent, he spent 20 minutes out there today making sure everybody got an autograph. I talked to him after, and he said, it is still humbling, as much as he's accomplished in this game, Jerry, that he can make a kid who's battling something like that smile just by coming out and saying hello. Some smiles here at JetBlue Park, as well as Pablo Sandoval goes opposite field for the base hit. So a little something going on here in the second with 2 on and 1 out.
That's good, solid contact by Sandoval right there. Line shot to the opposite field. Because Pablo will spray the ball all over the ballpark. This time he gets that fastball away and just takes it to the opposite field for the base hit. Nice hitting there by Sandoval.
And that'll bring up the left fielder, Chris Young. 2 on, 1 out. Young with a chance to get his team on the board here in the second inning. Chris Young, the veteran, signed as a free agent. Playing with the Yankees last season. Interesting scene on the backfield this morning, Jerry. A group of pitchers and catchers, all the pitchers and catchers came together for a meeting, and Chris Young was in the middle of it speaking for a little while.
That is interesting.
Asked John Farrell about it. He said, just sharing some thoughts. Be curious to find out what those thoughts are. But here's a veteran, and I think, as you said, I think everybody knows that you're at a point right now where it's time to sort of buckle down and set the tone for the coming season here over the last couple of weeks. Maybe that's something a veteran wanted to share.
Well, we'll find. You know what? That gives me something to do tomorrow morning.
Intrepid reporter Jerry Remy now has an assignment from the TC assignment desk.
Yes. I'll try to get that information on just what that was all about.
Torey Lovullo was in there speaking for a while. Dana Levangie, of course, who's worked with the catchers so much. Jason Varitek was there, but I found Chris Young's presence kind of interesting in that group.
Hey, Kobe! Kobe! Oh, yeah!
Holds up on that high pitch from Waka. 2-2 the count.
That last fastball about 93 miles an hour from Waka. The longest he's gone in a game is 2 innings, which is unusual for this part of spring training. Of course, so maybe he's worked in some simulated games or games, minor league games that he's pitched a little bit longer in, but we certainly expect to see more than 2 in this game today.
And he holds up there as well. 30 starts. No, he did not hold up. Gets called third strike. Crowd didn't like it. Young didn't believe it. But Tim Timmons saw that. Top of the strike zone for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, I think in that situation there, when you look at this, it didn't look like he did go at all. And you would kind of hope that the first base the home plate umpire would ask for help from the first base umpire, because I think had he done that, that would not have been a swing.
2 on, 2 down. Blake Swihart after the first pitch. Fly ball left field. Peguero, the left fielder, in to make the catch. So the Red Sox are unable to score in spite of singles from Ortiz and Sandoval. We head to the third, scoreless here at JetBlue Park.
DC.
Baseball on NESN is brought to you by Jordan's Furniture, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Buy Ace Ticket. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. And by Bob's Discount Furniture. Tom Karen, Jerry Remy, Garen Austin with you here this afternoon. Dave O'Brien will be back tomorrow for the game across the state against the New York Mets. We're scoreless coming into the third inning. There's Joe Kelly with 3 strikeouts so far. Will face the number 9 hitter, David Washington, who was at the plate when the second inning ended, trying to send Brian Pena on a ball that just bounced maybe 2 feet away from Blake Swihart.
Yeah, kind of unusual play. I mean, the ball did not get very far away, and I think it surprised everybody that Pena tried to score from third base, just kind of walked into an out, the final out of the inning at home plate.
Here's the 1-0. Low and inside for ball 2.
No, Tom, I had a great time this morning. I had a chance to stand with Brian Butterfield. And, you know, we watch third base coaches all the time give signs, and they look so complicated as they go so fast. So what we tried to do today is talk to the third base coach and get an idea on, you know, just give us some easy, simple signs to look at. And I think you'll enjoy it at home if you can try to, you know, pick up a bunt, a hit and run, a steal. It's a pretty good exhibition on what the players have to go through, but we've kind of dummied it down a little bit.
Thank you.
So
for me,
so I can get them. So I can get them. But it's a pretty interesting piece, I think.
It's the 3-1 pitch. So Kelly battles back. 3-0 was the count. Now it's full at 3-2 to Washington. '40th pitch of the outing for Kelly. That one gets by Sandoval. Bogarts is there, and Ramirez tries to snap that one out of the ground. It didn't get by him, but he wasn't able to make the clean grab, so Washington gets in there.
Yeah, not the easiest scoop to make because the ball kind of hits way out in front of Hanley Ramirez at first base. I mean, Bogaerts did all he possibly could do. You see how far he's got to go for this. Plus, he's got Sandoval diving in front of him, and it's hard to get anything on a throw like that because you don't have a chance to set up. So he makes the throw going away from first base. It's going to bounce, and you'll see Ramirez try to pick it at first base, but hits off the heel of the glove straight up in the air.
That'll go as an infield single, the 4th hit of the game for the Cardinals. Back to the top of the order where Colton Wong fouls off the first pitch of the at-bat. Wong had been taking the first pitch of almost every at-bat at spring training, Jerry. He told everybody he'd be doing it.
Why?
That was part of his strategy to win the leadoff spot. He said, I'm going to show everybody I'm more patient, so I'm never going to swing at the first pitch. Mixes it up there with a swing at it. Kelly over to first. Washington just gets back in time. Saw Ramirez look over at the umpire thinking he had him. You like what Hanley Ramirez is doing at first base so far?
You know, he's had a very good week this week. He's been very busy down at first base, and it has all been, on the positive side, which is good for Hanley. He's had to go to his left quite a bit, diving for balls near the line. He was involved in, a cutoff and a play at home plate. So, things are starting to happen for him more and more. I mean, you can go games without, getting much action in certain positions. But he has had plenty of it this week and has been up to the task.
Inside, good stop there by Swihart. Good to see Swihart back there without any problems. It was a week ago, the game we did up at Port Charlotte against the Rays, when he took that foul ball off the mask. We were initially concerned about a concussion. It was just a bruised jaw, and he didn't really miss much time at all.
No, just a couple of games, and he was right back in there.
Christian Vazquez catching yesterday, also ramping up his work. The 1-2 from Kelly outside. Does sound more and more, though, that they're going to make sure they take their time with Vazquez as he comes back with Tommy John. Just got word from the Orioles camp that they had to shut down Matt Wieters a little bit. Catcher who's come back from Tommy John. They don't want that to happen here.
Yeah, I think, that'll be disappointing to Vazquez because his goal was to be ready for opening day, but I think it's the smart thing to let him go to AAA if that's what happens and get more repetitions down there.
There's a ground ball to Pedroia. Goes to apply the tag, gets it over to first base. The out at second. Ramirez had to come off the bag, so no double play.
Always a decision the second baseman has to make. Do I try to tag her myself, or do I go to second base for the force out? And I think, that's the right decision made by Pedroia by tagging him himself. But by the time he gets the ball and throws it, he had to rush it to first base. It's not going to be quite in time to get the runner going down the line. I think even if Hanley is able to catch that ball cleanly, stay on the bag, I think he's still going to be safe.
Now, what'd you think of that attempt by Hanley? That was a tough play.
Yeah, that was fine.
Off the bag, tried to keep his foot on the bag.
Yeah, the ball didn't get by him, so the runner stays at first base.
Big lead for Wong, who is a stolen base threat. Piscotty, who singled in the first inning, up now. 1 down, 1 on. Piscotty burst on the scene last year in July for the Cardinals. Hit .305 in his 63 games, an .856 OPS. For St. Louis, was a big jolt to that offense over the second half of the year. And now this year, after they lose Hayward, Jason Hayward gone, so they're relying on the young Piscotty and Grichuk to get in there and become everyday outfielders.
That's what we talked about earlier in the show. I mean, we have guys young guys trying to make an impact on this ball club, along with some very veteran guys who have been established here for a long period of time. So they've got a mix. And there's always questions when you surround yourself with young players. How are they going to react on a consistent basis at the major league level? They showed signs of brilliance last year. will that continue through a full season?
Some similarities between these two teams there, as they are now at a point where they're relying on the young players, much like the Red Sox now expect Bogarts and Betts and Bradley and Swihart to pick up where they left off. In two markets where you are not allowed to have a complete rebuilding project, right? You have to stay competitive in Boston and St. Louis.
You do, but they're much more friendly in St. Louis than they are in Boston when you're not competitive.
Yes, they are. They will cheer the Redbirds one way or the other.
And they certainly will. They're very, very, very good fans out there in the Midwest.
And yet the expectations, as we said, is that the Cardinals are going to compete every season. And they have, for the most part. They're as consistently successful, Jerry, as any team in Major League Baseball. Seems like every couple of years, these guys go on a deep playoff run.
Yeah, you know, a lot of moving pieces, too. It's amazing how they get guys from different clubs that just blend into the Cardinal way. And their pitching has always been very, very good.
1-2 the count here to Piscotty. One out. Wong on first. Drives this one to right field. Betts back under it just before the warning track. Wong advancing on the throw, but he's out. A terrific throw from Mookie Betts. And a double play to end the inning, and we head to the bottom of the third scoreless.
Now back at JetBlue Park, no score as we go to the bottom of the third. And TC, you said it right. A terrific play by Mookie Betts in right field. He's going back toward the wall, as you can see right there. We know how deep the wall is in right field. And makes a spectacular throw in on a couple of bounces to Xander Bogaerts. Now, from Wong's point of view, that's a good play because you know it's not going to be a home run, but it should be deep enough to get you to second base if you tag up. Well, Mookie Betts had an answer for him that time, and that was a bullet to second base.
We've talked so much about the defensive ability of Betts and Bradley out there in the outfield, and we talk about the range they cover, Jerry, but don't overlook the arms. We know Bradley's got a terrific arm, but Betts really has a nice arm from the right field side.
Yeah, and it's gotten stronger with time. You know, when he obviously this guy moved from second base in the minor leagues to the big leagues. And when he first got to the big leagues, he threw like an infielder from the outfield. Now he's throwing more like an outfielder, over the top.
Bradley leading off the inning here, hitting .391 in the spring. Mookie Betts on deck. A .303 batting average, 10 assists from the outfield last season, as you can see. Bradley, high fly ball to left field. Left fielder Peguero gets there, waves everybody off to make the catch. And that'll bring up Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts, line drive to center field, retired to lead off the first inning for the Red Sox. Showing bunt. Walker's been economical so far for the Cardinals, and that's a point of emphasis for St. Louis, Jerry. You mentioned it before. He's only pitched a few innings here at spring training, and last year, as good as he has been, he's had trouble going deeper into games. 30 starts last season for the first time, and that's kind of always the goal of every starting pitcher, right? But you'd like to get innings to go along with that, and that has been an issue for Walker. They're looking for him to use his cutter a little bit more here, Jerry. The scouts over on the St. Louis side will tell you they think that will get more contact and allow him to get out of some innings quicker rather than the high strikeout totals, which go along with a high pitch count early in the game.
No, it's got a fastball that reaches, 95, 96 miles an hour directly over the top. So it can be an overpowering pitch, but I agree with you. If you come up with a cut fastball, that may bring some earlier contact and get some ground ball outs.
Now he gets Betts looking.
That's pretty nasty right there.
Yeah.
That's right over the top with the fastball. Again, 94 that time on the outside part of the plate. And no argument for Mookie Betts.
That's just power.
It's a perfect location.
Walker back in 2014, a game against the Mets, struck out the first 9 batters he faced. It was the first time in Cardinals history anybody had done that. And Pedroia is not waiting around for any of that stuff. Line drive, base hit on the first pitch of the at-bat for a 2-out single here in the third.
That's the second time today that Dustin's hit the ball hard. The first time was right at Wong at second base. This time he gets that topspin line drive to go to left field, and he's going to be replaced by Brock Holt, it looks like. So a couple of at-bats today for Pedroia, and we'll call it a day.
So Pedroia goes 1 for 2. On the day, he leaves after the 2-out single. Holt, the runner at first. Bogarts. Fly ball to center field in his first at-bat. A 1-2-3 inning that was for Walker. Walker, as I said, 30 starts last year. 181 innings sound good, but 30 starts, you'd like to be 200 innings to go along with that, Jerry.
Absolutely right, TC.
Fly ball right field. Piscotty started back. Now he comes in to make the catch to end the inning. So scoreless after 3 here in Fort Myers. The Cardinals coming up
tonight.
Top of the 4th inning, no score. St. Louis Red Sox. I talked to you about doing a thing with Butterfield this morning about giving signs at third base, and let's take a look at that.
Oh, the right hand, so you can concentrate on the right hand, and we'll use the nose as the indicator.
So if he does that, automatically he's using the hand that's hot, and he's going to indicate it, which means there's going to be a sign coming up.
Exactly. Let's use a sign. Let's use a couple signs that come immediately after the indicator. So you concentrate on the right hand. Once you see indicator, the first sign after. Let's use the belt as the bunt.
B for belt.
Right hand to the shirt is steal. And right hand to the hat is hit and run.
Okay.
Hat, hit and run, shirt, steal. Begins with the same thing. Bunt is belt. Okay?
Okay.
So now you're trained. Now we're just telling our guys, if our hot hand is the right hand, you're just looking for that right hand to see me go to the indicator first, which is the nose. There it is right here. We go right here to the B, following it, and you know that the bunt is on. Now sometimes a third base coach, especially me, will screw up, so I got to have usually a takeoff. If I find myself going to a sign, let's say I go indicator, John Farrell wants to put on a hit and run, but I go belt by accident, I just slow down and I give a wipe off across saying, let's start over. Let's start over. So now he stays with me. Here, here. I almost went to the shirt. That was the hit and run.
Hit and run.
And now this is the release, which releases the hitter and the runner from me. So they keep their eyes on me until the release.
Okay, that's pretty basic, but you'll see in the game that he obviously does things much quicker. But if you focus in on what he's doing, and you just remember one hand is hot, this is the indicator. So the sign is coming after the indicator, and then he also has a wipe-off where he can give the sign. He can give a number of signs. Basically, this was the hit and run butter?
Yes.
The hit and run.
Yes.
And then he can wipe it off by doing this, right?
Yes, yes. I'm sorry, the hit and run, it would be the hat, and the shirt is the steal, and the bunt is the belt.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's not that complicated, really, and I talked to him a little bit later about, players when they get to first base should not miss signs, really, and hitters, because you've got to know the situation in a game, and if you're on first base, either the steal's coming or possibly the hit and run, right. So you're looking for those signs, but that's just kind of dumbing it down a little bit. They're much more complicated in the game, but just to give you an idea of what the third base coach goes through as far as giving signs to the hitters and to the base runners.
And I think to the casual fan, the indicator and the wipe-off is sort of the interesting part of it. I might do all this just to make sure they're not figuring us out and then wipe it all away.
Exactly. So, and you can do that a number of times. I mean, you could give a sign, give the indicator, give a sign, wipe it off, then put it back on again.
Just to keep them honest.
Because I can guarantee you there was always somebody in the other dugout trained to watch either the dugout coach or the third base coach to see if they can pick up signs. So you've got to be very creative when you're giving signs.
And just to be clear, we haven't given away trade secrets here.
No, not at all.
So we have 29 other teams. I think the MLB Network shows this. You can have every other team.
As I said, we really dummied them down.
I'd hate to say that the Red Sox, can't steal a base this season because Jerry Remy got Butterfield to give away the plays. Holt ranging back halfway to right field, and he's able to make the play. So after the strikeout of Grichuk, ground ball out, 2 quick outs here in the 4th inning for Keller.
See, I'll give you a test now. See if you can pick it up,
all
okay?
Right, what do we got?
All right, so we got this.
Hit and run.
Bunt. Belt for bunt.
I thought the belt's a bunt.
Belt for bunt.
But you went to the hat.
Yes, but I didn't give the indicator.
You didn't give me the indicator on the hat.
Exactly.
You gave me the indicator on the belt. See,
exactly.
I'd get picked off every time. I would be 5 feet off the bag, scratching my head, trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do.
I wish they were that simple, but they're not quite.
Now, as a player, were you good at picking up the signs? Did you any time?
I was not good at picking up signs. No, I was not. Oh, you mean if I was on?
If you were on.
Oh, yeah, no, I was good there, but I wasn't good at, guys giving away signs.
Figuring
I was
out
not good at that. Yeah. Paul Molitor is excellent on that.
But didn't you, if I recall the story, your very first big league hit, you then probably got picked off first.
You have that exactly right.
Did that have anything to do with the sign?
No, that was strictly me being so nervous and so happy. And we always talk about getting picked off. How can you get picked off first and third? Well, I did.
Fly ball here from Adams. And it is gone. Oh, it kind of just hung up there forever. Maybe the wind helping it out. But a 2-out home run for Peguero to opposite field. Peguero hits the home run And you saw the reaction from Young out there in left field. How did that not come down?
Yeah, he couldn't believe it, and I don't think anybody in the ballpark could, because it looked like just a kind of lazy fly ball to left field. But we highlighted the win. You did, TC, a little bit earlier, and I think this got a push.
Opposite field power there for Peguero. I beg your pardon, I called him Adams. Adams grounding out prior to. But see, Young thought he had that all the way.
Yep. Just run out of real estate very quickly when it's only 310 down the line.
You know, and interesting to note here, 310 down the left field line as it is back at Fenway Park, but it is a taller left field wall here than it is back at Fenway Park in Boston because of those seats inside the Green Monster. That extra green space above those seats are basically the difference between here and there. If you hit it above that screen, that would be a home run up north, but that cleared everything here. Would have come down into the monster seats if we'd have been back at Fenway Park.
Just barely into the monster seats, too.
So a wind-driven opposite field home run for Carlos Peguero is the first run of the game. A 2-out shot off Joe Kelly and a 1-0 lead for the Cardinals. Ground ball to first. Ramirez diving stop, flips it over to Kelly to end the inning. So a nice defensive play by Hanley Ramirez, but a home run for Peguero. The difference here after 3.5.
Nesson.
Welcome back, JetBlue Park here in Florida. Jordan's Furniture, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Right now, get up to 60 months with no interest on anything at Jordan's Furniture. Furnish one room or your entire home. Best of all, you get to enjoy it now. Visit Jordans.com for details. So Red Sox trailing 1-0 now. Coming to bat here in the bottom of the fourth with David Ortiz at the plate. Michael Wacha out there for his fourth inning of work. It's called strike to begin the at-bat to Big Papi. David Ortiz with a base hit, had that broken bat opposite field flare that fell in. Now hitting 174 at spring training.
After Ortiz bats, TC, I'm going to give you one more chance to get a sign.
I'm in trouble.
Just remember, belt bunt,
Yep.
hit and run,
Yep.
steal.
All right. Out ahead of that one, 1-2 the count for Wacha. Wacha, we all remember that Cardinals played the Red Sox in that 2013 World Series. He was the MVP of the National League Championship Series to get them there, 2-0. In the League Championship Series, didn't give up a run in 13 2/3 innings. The third rookie in history to be the MVP of a League Championship Series. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike three. So Wacha gets David Ortiz to begin the fourth.
All right, let's give you another chance out of it, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to do it very, very slowly.
Okay,
very slowly.
Please. Hit and run. Am I still messing it up?
Nothing.
Wait, what's the catch?
I took it off.
because you wiped it off.
I took it off.
The wipe-off is here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wipe it off, son.
See, you wiped it off twice. You even wiped it off twice.
You know, you're down about $200 already.
You wiped it off twice and I missed it. See, I was so excited that I saw what you went to on the indicator that I stopped paying attention when you went to the wipe-off.
I'm getting lost doing it, for crying out loud. I might have given it to you. I don't know.
At what stage, as Hanley Ramirez comes up here with one out in the fourth inning, at what stage does it become complicated? Like, you know, Little League, you go to high school, when did you first sort of have to start learning these as opposed to, it's just a couple of signs?
Well, certainly in the minor leagues,
right away, as soon as you hit the minors, pro baseball.
It becomes more complicated, and more complicated as you go up. You've got to remember, if you trade somebody or lose somebody to another club, you've got to change the signs because they know the signs, so you have to be able to, make adjustments on the fly. Sometimes you have to change them mid-game. So, you got to be heads up all the time. And as we mentioned, third base coaches get their signs from the dugout, either a manager or the coach in the dugout will give the signs to the third base coach. He relays them to the hitters. So it's the manager calling the game, calling what he wants. He may give a sign before, as soon as a guy goes to the plate, and put a hold on it. And then if he wants that play, then he'll give another signal like, hey, let's go now for the hit and run. I'm making it sound more confusing than what it actually is.
Base hit for Ramirez down the left field line. He's thinking two. And Hanley Ramirez will slide in safely with a one-out double here in the fourth.
And Hanley's doing a lot of that. He's getting a lot of ground ball base hits right down that third base line. And that's a very good sign for him. That fastball in, he tops it. Of course, on these hard infields down here in Florida, they get through very, very quickly, especially on a day like this when they don't water the infield because they're expecting rain. That gives it a little top spin, gets down in the corner, and Hanley has a double. So a nice defensive play last inning, and now the double here in the fourth.
Lights have come on here at JetBlue Park, so the threat of rain still there. First pitch swinging, Sandoval out ahead of it. Fouls one down the first base line.
All Butterfield's doing right now is get in a position where he can wave Hanley home, where Hanley can see him if he rounds third base. Remind him how many outs there are. He'll be doing that. And just letting him know if there's anybody close to him, whether it be the shortstop or second baseman.
Sandoval, fly ball, center field, back, and gone! A two-run home run for Sandoval, and the Red Sox take a 2-1 lead.
Now that's a sign right there you don't put on the home run. Sandoval puts it on himself. Nice afternoon offensively. Base hit to the opposite field in the second inning and hits this ball a long way for his second home run in spring training. I mean, look at that pitch down and away, and he's able to go down and lift that ball and lift it deep enough to get out of the ballpark. Right around that 379 mark.
Right around our center field camera there. So the double from Hanley Ramirez and the home run for Pablo Sandoval. And the Red Sox have their first lead of the afternoon. Chris Young, after the first pitch, drives one to left field. That'll go all the way into the corner for extra bases as Young slides in with a double. So 3 straight extra base hits off Michael Wakai here in the fourth inning.
And being very aggressive, too, against Walker here in the fourth inning. The double, the home run, and now first pitch swinging is Young, and he rifles it down in that left field corner. Rattles around a little bit by the time Peguero is able to dig it out. No problem getting 2 for Young, who still runs very well.
So he's in scoring position for Blake Swihart. Swihart flied out to left to end the second inning. Now with 1 down, he's got a chance to drive one in. Waka now over 50 pitches in the outing. Trailing 2-1. Swihart caught 78 games last season at the age of 23. Best batting average by a Red Sox rookie catcher since Carlton Fisk back in 1972. And really from mid-June on, Jerry started to make those adjustments. Was the top hitting catcher in the American League from June 11th with a .306 batting average. Skies this one to left field. Peguero is there. Shallow fly ball, no chance for Young to advance. Second out of the inning.
Well, that was kind of the reputation coming up through the minor league system, right? A good bat, guy could swing the bat at the major league level. The problem was not a problem, but the process was still working on defense, and I think that process continues. We see him every once in a while try to backhand balls instead of blocking, but he's becoming more regular at doing it the proper way, and that just comes with experience.
And again, looking like Christian Vasquez may begin the season in the minors as he continues to get all the way back from Tommy John surgery. Ryan Hannigan, Blake Swihart should be your catching tandem in Cleveland when the season begins. But these things, as we know, can change quickly. Vasquez would have been the starting catcher as they broke camp a year ago before that elbow injury was made public in the final week of spring training. Winds up missing the entire season with the Tommy John surgery.
You know, I remember that when he hurt it too, and he threw an absolute bullet to second base to get a runner. Get him by a great distance too, but that's the throw that he hurt his arm on. Looked like a pretty good pitch right there, that fastball tailing back to the middle of the plate, but maybe called for being too high. I'm not sure, but it looked like it had plenty of the plate.
Yeah, Walker didn't like that he didn't get it. 2-1 the count here to Jackie Bradley Jr. Bradley, ground ball to first. Little bit of trouble for Adams, but he flips it to Walker in time to end the inning where the Red Sox score 2 on a Pablo Sandoval 2-run home run. They lead by a run after 4. Red Sox spring training game on NESN, brought to you in part by Ace Ticket. Ace Ticket is Boston's trusted source for Red Sox, Brewers, and Celtics tickets. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS to treat someone special to a game now. Red Sox leading 2-1 as the Cardinals come to bat here in the 5th inning. Patrick Wisdom will lead off the inning, his second at-bat of the game. Took a called third strike. Back in the second inning.
That's been another good outing for Joe Kelly here this afternoon for the Red Sox. And, you know, he strung together a bunch of good outings here in spring training. And as you mentioned, TC, it may be a guy that, you know, when we came to camp, there was some talk about possibly some competition for the 5th spot with Kelly and somebody else. But, I mean, now, as you mentioned, you might be talking about a guy pitching higher in the pitching rotation than number 5.
It was interesting to hear John Farrell before the game talk about the importance of this run here over the next couple of weeks. 3 starts remaining for the starters. Obviously, there's a competition now for the number 5 spot with Eduardo Rodriguez officially now planning to be on the DL when the season begins. Stephen Wright, Roenis Elias seem to be the 2 front runners in the battle for that number 5 spot. So Kelly goes from competition for the 5th spot, as you say, maybe leapfrogging a couple of guys. Porcello has struggled here in spring, though he took a step forward with his outing yesterday. Swing and a miss there. Wisdom strikes out for the first out of the inning here.
The second time Kelly has got him in the ball game today. A breaking ball. The first time looked like that might have been a changeup on that last pitch from Joe Kelly. Let's take another look at it. Yeah, it is a changeup, and it tails back to the plate, but it was off speed enough to fool Wisdom, a man who has a lot of wisdom.
5 strikeouts of Kelly. I'm glad you picked up on the theme here. You know, when you only do 1 game a week, Jerry, you've got time to work on your material coming in. Sometimes it's better not to have your material coming in. I think he wears a mouth guard to protect his wisdom teeth, too. I don't know if we've mentioned that yet.
DC, you're full of them today.
Full of something. That one misses outside. Two and one, the count's 5 strikeouts so far today for Joe Kelly. The shortstop, Diaz.
That's a good curveball right there from Kelly. Had a lot of snap to it, really did. And it started about letter high and finished about knee high by the time it was foul tipped. Did Joe just look in and say changeup? Let's see what the pitch is.
Chopper to Ramirez. He will take it and field it himself for the second out of the inning.
He actually did. He looked in when the hitter was not looking, and he wanted to throw the changeup, and he's told Swihart changeup, and that's exactly what he throws. Now let's take a look at Kelly as he looks in. Changeup. I want to throw the changeup.
So far today here on Nesson, we have given away the Red Sox signs, and we now have pitchers calling out their pitch before they throw it. Not a lot of subtlety going on in this little spring training match.
Hey, it's a big game.
2 down here. Approaching the end of the day for Kelly, already over 75 pitches. Like to get Washington here to make it a clean 1-2-3 5th. Probably end his day at that point. David Price will be making the trip tomorrow to take on the Mets, a game you'll see here on Nesson. Nice to see Price going up against the Mets.
I think Matt Harvey's supposed to pitch for the Mets tomorrow.
The Dark Knight. Got a whole superhero thing going on there. You got Thor, one of the pitchers. You got the Dark Knight as one of the pitchers.
I didn't know that.
I'm taking it you're not a comic book guy.
No, not really.
Didn't strike me as one. Washington fouls that off.
Actually, we're making the journey tonight after the game. We have trouble traveling on day of game, so we're going to go tonight and spend the night over on the East Coast. Get up early tomorrow, go to the ballpark, do a nice game, and drive back about 3.5 hours.
So I was part of that travel party originally, but now Dave O'Brien's coming in.
You're on kind of
I'm on call.
You're in a holding pattern.
I am. I'm going to hold here in Southwest Florida. Make the run in the morning if Dave has any issues getting in. It's the corner there. 3-2 now, the count to Washington. It was about 3 hours when it's all said and done?
I'll let you know in about 6 hours. I'll let you know, but I think it's somewhere around there. Yeah.
2:45, 3.
Yeah.
Pitch from Kelly. Washington fouls it off to stay alive.
Last fastball from Kelly, 97 miles an hour. So you can see the difference in the velocities, anywhere from 92, 93 up to 97 this afternoon.
And you forget now that Kelly got a late start to camp. They gave. He and his wife had their first child, giving birth to their son Knox, so he was allowed to come a little bit late, but certainly has caught up and more now. To finish off this 5th inning. And he misses inside. So Washington draws the 2-out walk. And that will do it for Kelly now with his pitch count up over 80. John Farrell out quickly. He signals to the bullpen, and Kelly will leave the game after going 4 2/3 innings, giving up the 1 run, leaving a man on, and getting a nice ovation in the crowd here at JetBlue Park. Pitching change here in the top of the 5th with the Red Sox leading 2-1.
Two to one, the Red Sox have the lead in the top of the 5th inning, and I got to tell you, a very nice afternoon for Joe Kelly. Had 5 strikeouts, and a lot of them on off-speed pitches. You're going to see a changeup right here to Wong for his first strikeout of the game, a changeup to Adams. Then he goes to a breaking ball, a curveball, another curveball for a strikeout, and then back to a changeup to get the number 5. So all of his strikeouts today on off-speed pitches, very impressive.
That adds to the whole conversation that he has become a more complete pitcher. He leaves the game after the walk to Washington. Robbie Ross Jr. on to face the lefty Colton Wong. Ross, 6 strikeouts in 4 2/3 innings this spring. 8 runs off Ross, but only 3 have been earned runs. Victim of some troublesome defense behind him. That one in for a called strike. 2-1, the count to Wong. Wong 0 for 2 on the day. First strikeout victim of Kelly. Begin the game. And grounded into a double play. As he fouls that one off. I'm sorry, not a double play. Fielder's choice, almost a double play. Couldn't get the man at first. Double play came afterwards when Piscotty fly ball to Mookie Betts. And he doubled up Wong at second. Humid afternoon here in Southwest Florida. Red Sox leading the Cardinals 2-1. A sea of red here in Fort Myers. Not often you see 2 teams wearing the same color jerseys playing one another.
That's exactly right. And, when they introduced the Cardinals, a lot of Cardinal fans here this afternoon at JetBlue Park.
They do travel well, don't they? We've seen that in the interleague games. We've seen that in postseason play. Cardinals bring their fans with them wherever they are. In fact, I'm told there was a terrific catch a moment ago in the stands. Let's see what we got here as leaping catch there.
Oh, very nice. 2 hands, too.
The home whites.
Made that look very easy.
Yeah, sat right back down, acted like he'd been there before. Ross back over to first. Washington dives back in ahead of the throw.
Yeah, he's already tried to steal 1 time in this particular bat. That was on a 2-1 count. He may try to go on the 2-2 count, too. He's trying to get in scoring position here with 2 outs. That's why the check at first base by Robbie Ross.
The 2-2 from Ross. Base hit to right field. Betts in quickly to play it, so Washington will pull up at second base. And Wong gets his first hit of the day.
Yeah, good job hitting the breaking ball, staying in. Lefty against lefty. Did not let that front shoulder fly, and is able to make good solid contact, pull that ball, and not exactly where Ross wanted it. He wanted that breaking ball away from the lefty. Instead, it stayed kind of middle in, and it gave him an opportunity to put it on a line for the base hit.
Piscotty now with 2 on, 2 down, trying to make something happen off Robbie Ross here in the 5th. First pitch, Holt is there, and he makes the catch to end the inning. So Ross comes in to get the 3rd out. And the Red Sox coming up to bat at the bottom of the 5th with a 2-1 lead here in Florida.
Here at JetBlue Park, Red Sox have the 2-1 lead. Walker back out there for another inning. Both teams with 6 hits in a ball game. No errors in this one this afternoon. And it'll be Mookie Betts leading it off for the Red Sox here in the 5th inning.
So good outing for Kelly and a good outing for Michael Walker so far. Mookie Betts looking for his first hit of the game. Gets a ball to start the at-bat. Walker targeted to be the number 2 starter on the season for the Cardinals. That would slate him to pitch the home opener at Busch Stadium against Milwaukee. '58 career starts, now a 3.21 career earned run average. So he's been consistently good. Appeared in his first All-Star game last season. Hasn't had a great spring. He's been trying to find himself here at spring training and looks pretty good so far today. Talked about trying to be economical with your pitches, Jerry, and he's done a good job with that so far.
He's not the only one trying to find himself. I am too. I've been lost a few times on the roads here in Southwest Florida.
Now, are you driving to?
No, actually, Michael Narachi is going to drive, and that's a good thing. I get to sit back and enjoy.
And because I feel I let you down, I had to text you earlier this week and tell you I might not be making the trip. You have to find another ride. I was looking forward to another edition of the Tom and Jerry Traveling Roadshow. We haven't gotten into music very much yet. You don't seem to be a guy. Do you play music usually in the car?
I don't anymore. No.
Yeah. Fly ball here from Mookie Betts. High, far, and gone. 4th home run of the spring from Mookie Betts. The Sox lead by 2.
Oh, that just sounded nice off the bat of Mookie Betts. His hands are so quick. Watch how quickly he turns his pitch around. That ball down about knee-high, a little bit on the inside part of the plate, and that's a ball he absolutely mashes. 4 home runs, as TC mentioned, here in the spring for Mookie Betts.
And that will end the day for Michael Wacha. All the runs coming off Wacha via the home run, a 2-run shot for Sandoval, and now the solo homer to lead off the 5th from Mookie Betts. Red Sox lead 3-1 here in the 5th. Bottom of the 5th here at Fenway South, Jet Blue Park, where the Red Sox taking a 3-1 lead against the Cardinals. Coming up after the game today, Red Sox All Access coming your way. Blake Swihart was mic'd up for a road trip last weekend. They allowed our cameras insight into his game preparation. You want to check it out. A great look at how these guys get ready for the coming season and the work they put in throughout the spring. That's coming up after the game on Red Sox All Access. Of course, that was the game that Swihart ended up leaving after taking the foul ball off the mask. Brock Holt getting his first at-bat of the game, came in as a pinch runner for Dustin Pedroia after Pedroia had a 2-out single in the 3rd inning. Holt said he's getting rave reviews for our new commercial, Jerry. He thinks the offers are going to come pouring in and maybe some award consideration.
Well, I see big things for both of you. I got a chance this week to see the uncut version of it. I could actually hear it, and it is spectacular. I think the agencies are certainly going to be coming after both you and Brock. I
think if they come out with the Nesson DVD director's cut, later with those uncut scenes, yes. I think that'll have a cult following. There's some scenes that got left on the floor that really. Almost too hot to put into a commercial, Jerry. The magic was that good.
You got to keep time for your pregame gig, TC. As big as you might get on this.
That's right. No.
Always make room for your real job, because the other stuff comes and goes.
Oh, that's right. You got to keep your consistency, the bedrock of what you've built it all on. Called third strike there as Matt Bowman gets that one in there to begin his outing with a strikeout.
Good pitch, one of those two-seam fastballs that starts inside on Brock Holt, comes back, picks up the inside corner. First out of the inning. Brock lifting those arms up, but he knows the strike. No complaint from him as he heads back to the dugout.
Bowman played at Princeton University, was an all-Ivy League selection there. Last season was in the Mets minor league system and then got picked up in that minor league phase of the Rule 5 draft by the Cardinals in December. Led the Pacific Coast League with 16 losses last year, 7-16. His totals. Now trying to prove himself as a depth starter, maybe a long inning reliever for the Cardinals. Christian Vasquez on deck here. As Bogart swings and misses, and back-to-back strikeouts for Bogart.
Now, being a Rule 5 guy means that you've got to make the team, or they have to send you back to your own club, right?
That's correct.
Coming from the Mets organization, so an excellent opportunity for Bowman to become a major leaguer.
So Christian Vasquez coming into the DH spot for David Ortiz. Big Poppy, 1 for 2 at a base hit in the second inning, struck out in the fourth. Vasquez now with a chance. Caught yesterday, and they're trying to ramp up his workload. Some back-to-back games planned for the next week. Catching. Coming in as the DH here as he swings and misses. Called strike 2, and it's quickly 1-2. See Vasquez's number 2 years ago with the Red Sox before the Tommy John surgery last year. Ground ball to short here, and they'll get Vasquez. So after the leadoff homer for Betts off Waka, a 1-2-3 outing for the reliever Bowman. We head to the 6th, 3-1 Red Sox. Here in Fort Myers. You want the good news or the bad news, Jerry?
I'll take the bad news.
The bad news is when you've got the grounds crew and Katie Haas, who does such a great job running the Florida operations for the Red Sox, when they're out near home plate in the middle of a game, that means there is weather coming in, and they are discussing what to do about the clear threat. The lights have been on. There's been the potential of a thunderstorm. The good news, Jerry, is the Red Sox are winning 3-1.
It's getting darker and darker. There's no question about that. And the problem down here in Florida is you don't have a very large ground crew like you would back in Boston. So it takes a while to get that top back on.
And it looks like they are signaling for the tarp. You can see some raindrops on the lens there. Players are being sent to the clubhouse here. That discussion continuing. Red Sox have their own weather service, and then they use that weather service to try to get a head start. You know, you don't want it to just open up on you and leave the field and leave fans in the middle of it. So clearly they know something's about to come in, because it's not raining at the moment, at least not steadily.
And it's interesting, all the Cardinal players are heading to the clubhouse, which is on the third base side.
Right, you don't get there from the dugout.
Right.
So we are headed for a rain delay And they are now announcing, by the way, that there are strong storms detected in the area. They are encouraging fans here to seek shelter. They do say they hope to resume play shortly, but that will certainly get the fans heading to the concourses. And that would obviously be why the Cardinals are heading to the clubhouse as opposed to staying in the dugout, where they would be left open-ended. There is the announcement that I just told you about, that strong storms coming in through the area. We knew this coming into the day, Jerry. First thing this morning, everybody here talked about isolated but strong thunderstorms throughout the afternoon.
Yeah, as I left the house this morning about 6:30, it was very, very humid and cloudy, and it did sprinkle a little bit this morning here at the ballpark. Not for long, just for maybe about a minute, but it's been that kind of weather all day long where you felt like something was going to be coming in, and it looks like the time has come, because everybody coming in, they're coming in from the bullpen area, from the dugouts, and they're taking their stuff with them. So you wonder, if this goes on for a while, with this being a complete game, it very well could be called if these storms are strong enough. So we'll have to wait and see on that, TC. But you can see the clouds in the background, and certainly gotten darker here at JetBlue Park.
You know what this is, Jerry? This is karma, okay? I'm here this weekend, and for the first time in 13 years, I'm not calling the Hockey East Championship weekend back home. I've done that for more than a decade now at Nesson. And last night, we had a terrific night of hockey on Nesson. Managed to find a place down here in Florida to watch it, but Game 1 was Providence College Friars against the UMass Lowell Riverhawks. Game 1 of a doubleheader went triple overtime.
Wow.
And in between regulation and the overtimes, I started texting our producer, Kevin Cedergren, Billy Jaffe, who does such a great job doing color, and the essence of my text was, ha, 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 I'm in Florida.
Right now.
Show up today, there's a tarp on the field, and that is karma.
And we got a 3-hour drive after this, so this is great. I love this.
So the tarp is on the field, and the fans are seeking a little bit of shelter, but we're going to keep it here as we, again, hope to resume play shortly. And while we wait out this rain delay, we're going to give you a little inside look at the spring training work of the new ace of the Boston Red Sox. David Price wore the microphone for us and gives you an all-access look at what he needs to do to get ready for opening day. It's Red Sox All Access with David Price here on Nesson.